David Rodriguez had owned his 4-acre property in the hill country for 8 years when the trouble started. His land sat at the edge of Ridgeview Estates, a sprawling HOA community that had slowly crept closer to his boundary line with each new phase of development. David kept to himself, tended his vegetable garden, and never bothered anyone. But when the HOA decided to expand their walking trail system, they decided his property line was negotiable. David first noticed something wrong on a Tuesday morning. The iron survey stakes he'd had professionally installed just 6 months earlier were gone. All 12 of them, pulled clean from the ground. In their place, wooden markers sat 15 feet deeper into his land, painted with the HOA's signature forest green color. He walked the entire boundary that afternoon, documenting everything with his phone. They hadn't just moved a few stakes, they'd repositioned his entire eastern property line to steal a 15-foot strip that ran the full length of his acreage. When David confronted Gerald, the HOA's development director, the man barely looked up from his clipboard. "Those old markers were probably inaccurate anyway," Gerald said, dismissing him with a wave. "Our surveyor says this is the correct boundary. We're building the trail extension through here next month." David pulled out his own survey documents, certified and recorded with the county. "This survey is from a licensed professional. You can't just move my property line because it's convenient for your trail." Gerald smirked. "Take it up with our lawyers if you're so sure. We've already got permits approved for the trail construction." That conversation lit a fire in David. He drove straight to the county planning office and requested copies of every permit the HOA had filed for their trail expansion. What he discovered made his jaw drop. The HOA had submitted their permit application using a hand-drawn property map, not an official survey. Worse, they'd marked David's land as HOA common area on their documentation. They'd essentially committed fraud to get county approval for construction on property they didn't own. David spent the next week gathering evidence. He hired his original surveyor to return and document the removed markers. He photographed the fraudulent boundaries. He compiled his deed, his certified survey, and historical property records going back 40 years. Then he filed a formal complaint with the county planning department, attaching every piece of evidence he'd collected. The response came faster than expected. The county planning director, Maria Gonzalez, called David personally. "Mr. Rodriguez, we've reviewed your complaint and compared it against the HOA's permit application. There are significant discrepancies. We're suspending their construction permit immediately pending investigation." Within days, county inspectors arrived at Ridgeview Estates. They verified David's survey against county records. They measured the disputed boundary. They examined the removed survey markers David had photographed in place just weeks before. The findings were damning. The HOA had knowingly misrepresented property boundaries on official documents. The county didn't just revoke their trail permit. They flagged every active construction permit the HOA held across their entire development, freezing millions in planned improvements until a comprehensive boundary audit could be completed. Gerald showed up at David's door 2 weeks later, no longer smug. The HOA was facing fines. Their trail project was dead. Their entire development schedule had ground to a halt. "We'd like to settle this quietly," Gerald said, sweat beading on his forehead. David smiled. "You should have thought about that before you touched my property."